Hello everyone, this is Inayat Mir and you will hear some background music, but I'm going to record this video. I have decided to voice over it. So this lab was done according to 2410D module 1, where we will do a lot of things, and you can always pause and go and look at the information actually what we have here. And I'm talking about the installation of Windows operating system first, and very first thing we will have a blank hard drive on LONSVR3 server. From there we will move on by installing the operating system, and I am going to perform this operation right now in front of you. We are going to use multiple virtual machines, and this is a kind of a Hyper-V or VMware kind of environment what you have. So what we do here, very first thing, we will deploy Windows Server 2012. Then we will configure Windows Server 2012 Core. Core is a non-GUI operating system where you don't have a graphical user interface, but you can do a lot of good functionalities, and you can do a lot of remote management, and I will talk about that one. And then we will manage server by using a server manager, where you can add multiple servers on one server and remotely manage them, and I will show you everything step by step. Then we will manage actually servers with Windows PowerShell. So PowerShell is a very important feature what we have so far. Currently we have a new version 5 that is in Windows Server 2016, or you can actually upgrade your 2012 R2 PowerShell to version 5. So we're gonna continue like that, and I'm going to highlight and show you the functionalities what we are going to perform, and we will configure few things here. I'm going to highlight to show you. And now we have machines here. We have 3 machines on the right side, and we will see from the left side you will see 4 including the core operating system. So you will see these machines available, and we will start actually by adding up a Windows DVD. So what you do here on the right side here, you scroll down this arrow, and you're gonna add this Windows Server 2012 R2, and make sure that you know about a keyboard and mouse problem with this installation. I'm going to add some add-in tabs here as well, which will indicate that you will not be able to use keyboard, actually mouse, and you can use a tab on the keyboard, and you can use escape and space button on the way. So I'm adding small tips in it, and where you can see that how you can move on with this lab. At one point your instructor will take a control. Here you have to arrow down to your GUI system. Do not hit enter, because it will add a core non-GUI GUI operating system, say where you don't have a graphical user interface. So what we're looking for here, what it said at the bottom, scroll down to data center evaluation, graphical user interface, the last one, very simple I can say, and then click on next. And you have to hit space bar. Originally you may wait about 50 to 20 minutes when you install really on this situation. So I am not going to wait that long, because I am going to pause my video and I'm going to install here. So you can install as a custom install, and you will see the room of the hard drive what you have, and you can use the whole. By default is, I believe, 126 approximately gigabyte. You can increase or you can decrease. 127. Then here you can simply use the whole room and create a partition and install operating system through your DVD. You see on the right side of your computer you do have your DVD inserted into this computer. So I'm going to pause and go. You're not gonna feel that whatever I just did. I just mentioned here that it may take about 15 to 20 minutes as at your end. So in this way we are going to save some time here. So you are looking at whatever you're supposed to look at this time. So this was your very first screen where you can log in through your username and the password. Okay, username is administrator is right there, and you can paste a password actually under it through the command and paste, and the password is given to you on the right side where my mouse is right over here. This is the password, capital $PA$W0 D. Okay, so now you click on finish, and this was your initial installation, and originally when you install it would definitely take more time. Okay, some more info I'm adding on to my other side website where you can see some more information about this lab or about some other operating systems. At this point you're gonna add plugins from your end, and I might gonna take a control from your end if you have any problem. Otherwise you add those VMRC plugins, and you have to just struggle a little bit to make your mouse working, and then you can type your password here and log in. And then you're gonna see on the right side I put actually also here ESXVMT tools like on the DVD. So you're gonna install this tool as well to give a free control to your keyboard and mouse. So once you install that, let me show you. From your DVD, you browse to your DVD. Once you insert that from the right side, and it will go in and install that VMware tool. And then once it's done, you can reboot. Once you reboot, you are good to go, and you could have and you will have a control on your mouse and keyboard fully. And if you still see any issue, of course I can remotely access if you are in class or online, or I simply can guide you through how it works. But that's the way what I have done it myself alone. You can do it as well. So just read my side notes as well. I am putting small notes on the side for your convenience. Now I rebooted. I am going to log in back. If you feel I am so fast, so don't worry, just ask me if you are in here live with me. If you are not, simply you can pause and listen what I said and follow along. Okay, so now you can log into this server, the one we just had a brand new copy, and in the local server you will see a default server name. You need to change that name. So this is the default name. We never got a prompt to change the name while we were installing. So what's next, that we are going to change this. So basically what we need to have this server name as LON-SVR3, as you can see to your right side. So change this server name. Whenever you change a computer name, you need a reboot. So SVR3, we will stay in a work group currently. You are in a work group, and you need to restart this computer once you're done. So make sure that you are also watching screen at the bottoms. Okay, here we are going to reboot this computer. So now we are restarting. So once we restart, we come back, we can verify what is our server name, which is, if you can look at the right side, LON-SVR3. So this will be our server name now. So you can log in back as an administrator. As I said that at the bottom, I am having these all instructions for your convenience. So when you want to follow along with your own VM, or if you are doing the same lab, you can follow exactly as it is. And it is a good idea to follow along if you have never done this lab before, or if you have your own setup, you can do it. And you can actually work with any domain, with any work group, with any new computer. The way we do, you can do exactly. So local server will tell you, it's a local server tab, will give you the work group name, domain if you are a member of the domain, or host name and IP address. You can see everything. And host name is a command to check your computer name. So we just verified our host name is L1-SVR1. So this was a kind of given as a part 1 in your lab, and your lab is divided into lab A, lab B, lab C, and lab D. I really don't focus on those all sections, but I'm trying to focus so you can go and follow along. The next step is to check the date and time. How to check it, how to fix it. Simply you go to your notification section, click on date and time, and adjust your time zone and adjust your date. It is self-explanatory, so you should not have an issue with a very simple task which you can do. So I'm in US and I'm in Eastern Standard Time zone, so I'm going to choose Eastern time zone for US and Canada. And you also can match the date, whatever date you have today or on the calendar. So today is a different date than a recording date. What I did is recording without the audio, so that doesn't matter. So as long as you have a concept, I think you are good to go. Here we go. We just check this date and time. That was done. And in the server manager, local server is the one which gives you the information about the IP address and your Ethernet network card. So if you look at the middle of the screen, there's an IPv4 that shows me I have a one network card. So you click on it and this will give you the network card icon. Here you have unidentified network Ethernet. So you can go look at the properties and you look at the IP address. If you want to add a static IP address, you can click use the following IP address, and whatever is given to you, you can use it from the idea box. That will be your IP 172.16.0.101. Default subnet mask for class C. You are using a default gateway. We really don't need it, but we are using it. If you want to go online and you want to have internet and you are configured with a with your ISP, you want to go online, yes, of course you can go, but just make it a habit for the labs that you are going to add this 01 IP, whatever is the first available IP in the network we're supposed to use for a default gateway or a router. So now we have an IP scheme done, and we are on the same network where we have our DC1, LON-DC1 on the top right, very first server, which is a domain controller. And now we are ready to join if you want to join. Okay, so this is the way you can look at the work group, and if you know the domain name, you have a username and password, you can join. So our domain is datum.com. So under domain, we will type the domain name. If you have appropriately DNS set up, so you should not have any issue. For now, here we will log in as an administrator with a password, and you can actually copy and paste password right from there. Just ignore this my plug-in phone device pop-up. So here we can type the password, what we have to memorize, and password is there, capital PA, $W0RD. And whenever you change computer name, whenever you join a domain, you know that you have a pending reboot. So without that, it will not register DNS in our DNS server. So we need an additional host record in DNS. We do not want to add host record manually. So this will be registered in my DNS. We can log in now to the domain because we are in a domain now. We are a domain member. So we can click on the back arrow. Instead of logging into the local computer, we are logging into our domain controller, which is a datum. First you have to put username / domain name. So a datum is a domain. You can use that format, or domain name is already there. If it's not there, Currently I see a local server, so that is not good. So we have to put, actually this is a local server, I am logged in, just to let you know that if you go log in like that, you logged into your local PC. Actually we're supposed to use domain name / administrator, and then you have to put the password, and that logs into your domain. So anyway, that is not necessary to go back and do that, just to let you know that. Okay, now we just have done these few things: set computer name, change computer date and time, configuration, TCP IP, and edit the server to the domain. So this was a brand new blank hard drive, and we had a fresh copy of operating system. We installed it and we joined to the domain. We log in back to that server, and the way I just saw that we logged into a local computer doesn't matter. So but we can log into the domain because we are a domain member now. Now we are going into the core operating system. So we did not install that, this is pre-installed. So all we have to go log into this core computer. We are going to use a command s as in same, config, SCONFIG. It is executable, so you don't have to put .exe if you don't want to, but sconfig is a one single command. You hit enter, they're gonna give you 15 different options. So this is a very simple and just as a point and shoot type. So this is a core operating system. It's not a GUI. We will see that how can we get benefit of this core operating system. We go by numbers. Okay, number 2, this is a computer name, and again we have a default computer name. At this time we want to change it to L1-CORE. It is very simple, or as simple as 1 2 3. Simple. You choose the number, choose the name you want to, say yes to restart. As I said before, you must have to restart your computer whenever you make a change. So now we are going to log in back. Remember, I'm going to do this all pause go, just to make things quicker. If you want to hold on and wanna pause and look at the steps, of course you can do that, but I'm trying to move with efficient speed. So back to my command line. Now we can check the host name. Now is different, before was different. So now we are on L1-CORE. As you see that we just changed the name. So now we are on the L1-core. Again we're gonna use sconfig command, those 15 different options, and that is where we are also able to join the domain. So number 9 is a date and time. We did a GUI way. Here you can do through the command prompt, through the numbers. So again I said you don't have to go through it all again if you don't want to, but simply get the idea, get the concept. Whenever you have to do this, do this. If you don't want to do this, don't do it. But in real life, in a production environment, you might want to fix this all the way I'm fixing it. And again I'm going back to the Eastern time. So we did this through GUI way, and now we did this through a non-GUI way. So you did this date and time. Once you do, you have to click on done button on the bottom right side. If you want to get rid of this screen, you have to go last number 15, and you will be out of the screen and you will be back into the command prompt. If you got to do something in command prompt, do it. If you want to come back to sconfig, you can come back with a refreshed screen. So sconfig.cmd, I think by mistake I said .exe. It is a command, so it's a cmd. If you want to put cmd, if you don't want to put cmd, Charlie, Mary, David, doesn't matter. Now we're adding networking option number 8. So we are able to set up IP, set up DNS, join a domain. So everything can be done through the command prompt. So 13 is our index or index number. So now we were using a adapter address from number 1. Again, we are going by numbers. That is how you configure your core operating system through the numbers. Here you want to have a static is S, dynamic is D, from DHCP, dynamic host configuration protocol. So now we are going to add a static IP address, and that will be the IP address what we are going to mention here, 172.16.0.111, and default gateway is a class C default gateway. Is like, I'm sorry, I'm saying class C before as well because I'm a little bit far from the screen. It's a class B. Is a 255.255.0.0, but this is a subnetted. This is a default of class C, but it is a subnetted, so you are using right now you are using a class B, but if it is subnetted, then you can use a 3 times 255, 1 times 255. So we are not using a classless, we are using a classful. Classful goes with the default. So we are using a default gateway, default subnet mask, which is 255.255 two times. Okay, this is a preferred DNS. That is from my domain controller. So my domain is L1-DC1, which is supposed to be 172.16.0.10. So that is my DNS. So we are set properly with the class B IP address, and this is a specific IP address. This was given with the lab manual, so that's why we are following that one. But again, you want to customize, of course, go ahead and do customization. There is no problem to do that one. Again, you can exit with number 15. You can come back with sconfig.cmd whenever you want to move around between these steps. Yes, you can do that. So now you are able to communicate in the network. So again, L1-DC1.datum.com is our domain controller, and we are going to be a member of that domain controller. So this is the next step. Again, going by numbers. So now you are looking at D as in David for the domain. Now you need a domain name, which is a datum.com. Then again, you need a username and password. If you don't have a username, you cannot join it. You cannot be a part of this domain. But we are using a default domain administrator name. And the password, when you type the password, you're not going to be able to see what you're typing. So make sure you typed a correct password. It will be like very quiet screen, like nothing is moving, but you know you are typing a password. So that is a security reason. If you type wrong, you will have a problem. Okay, so again, you are going to reboot your computer because you join the domain, but we do not want to change computer name. Now this L1-CORE is a member of our datum.com domain. So we are back as a domain member. Now you can log into your domain, or you can log in locally. Either way, a datum first is a domain name supposed to be. If you don't type a datum, then you are going to log into this core PC. So again, this time also you logged into this core computer onto the work group. Even you typed on the top administrator, doesn't matter, but again you are able to log into the domain from this computer, as we were able to log in from previous computer L1SVR3 to the domain. Okay, so you are done with this one. Now you're gonna go move on to the next GUI part, and at the end we're gonna do some PowerShell as well, or in between somehow wherever we do, but now we are doing some GUI work plus the PowerShell. So whatever I put here on the side, because I just barely remember that we are going to do some of the PowerShell stuff as well, and some GUI stuff and server management also. I will show you how to manage server centrally from one server. Now we are on back on our domain controller, our DC, which is L1-DC1. That is where we have our Active Directory. But here you are going to create server group. So you have to give a name to server group as well. But you have to, we are searching those computers, which one we are going to add into server 1 from our network. So when you find, you will see all computers on the network. You select, click on play button, move to the right side for a server group, but then you have to give again a name to your server group. So this will be actually a server group with 2 computers, as we have here L1-core and L1-SVR3. So those 2 we worked on actually. So L1-SVR3 is a brand new member server, and L1-core also is a member server, and these both supposed to have a name lab-1. So we have a server group. You will see on the left column, very last one is a lab-1 is a server group. So now you can manage both servers from this server. As you see now, they both are online, L1-core and L1-SVR3. From here we can access the PowerShell, we can access computer management, we can do few remote management. Okay, so you have to click one by one. So they are both highlighted, but you click one by one to manage remotely. Here you are looking at the performance. You can set up a performance on those servers. You can scroll down all the way and look at the performance counters at the end, and you see what roles and features are installed, and you can select right from here both of them, and you right click and start performance. So you have to hold control to select both. Okay, so I started performance on the top. You can stop and start again. You have to refresh it whenever you do some action. You got to hit F5 on the top. Refresh button is on the top, on next to the flag. You can do that one. So you can refresh that. So here we go. We are back onto that group. So now you hit control, select both, right click and start performance. That is the way the lab step is. So you also can individually go into the each server actually. So you want to manage remotely, you want to select one server, you want to go into install a feature or install a role. I am on core now. I am adding a feature in core. So remember, we are on L1-DC1. We are adding a feature on L1-CORE core. That's what we are selecting right now. So that's how you manage remotely, and you are actually doing installation remotely. So you are making that server a web server by installing IIS, Internet Information Services. And also you can add a second feature, Windows Server Backup. that can be done through PowerShell, that can be done through add and remove roles and features, that can be done directly from that server, or this can be done remotely. So we have done this all remotely. So again, just think the concept. The concept is that we are sitting on LON-DC1. We are adding these features or roles on LON-core. So this is a remote management. So I pause the video, and once I'm done, I turn on my video again, and that feature is actually installed on LON-core. So now we are on DC1 again, and now we are on a second server. We're gonna repeat these steps. It's very simple. Again, you are on a different server, you are managing a different server, you are adding features or roles on a different server. First we used core. Now we are using this LON-SVR3. Even we are not on it, but we are installing a feature on LON-SVR3. So I'm adding here Windows backup feature, and this is optional. Sometimes you have to keep this checked. If something is very important installed and that requires a reboot, you need to keep this on. Now, as we have seen it, that we remotely installed roles or features from sitting on LON-DC1 to LON core and LON-SVR3. Okay, now you can see on the left side here on those features what we have installed. When you click on those features, they will tell you that on what server these features are installed. So when you click on IIS, is a LON core. We just did that one. Okay, we installed IIS on LON-core. But we are still, again, look at that, we are on LON-DC1. So going back to core, and in the command prompt you have to actually configure the firewall. Let me pause and copy and paste, so to save your time. And this way you're gonna type your command, first command, and you're gonna update the rule with the second command, so we can freely communicate. I will also show you a way to copy and paste directly into the PowerShell window. That's a kind of a lazy actually, but I would prefer to type it so you can also get some idea about the commands, because we have to install a lot of roles and features. So we are up to, looks like we are up to date. Refresh. If you don't, you can go to follow this procedure. Otherwise we are good to go. Up to here we are good. Some additional instructions you have, if in case you are not online and you can't manage remotely and you can't see those servers remotely here. Now we are on the computer management of a remote computer. If you highlight this button, you could see that we are on the core computer management. Again, core does not have a GUI But this is the way we access remotely from our server to the core. And this is core servers computer management, not on LON-DC1. That's where you will see the computer management. Under brackets, you see the name of that server. So this is just a kind of demo. So what we are performing and how we will doing this one. So these services are on LON-core, not on DC1. So because we remotely accessed that server. Because we have an IIS installed on the core, so we are looking at the worldwide web publishing service. Just to make sure how it runs. And also to make sure that we do have an IIS installed and running on that server. We don't have to make any change here, just to make sure that everything is working properly and the roles or features are installed properly. So this just is an overview. There's nothing to change. Here, this section you can only this section they let you change few things just to customize it. If you don't want to, you can leave it as a default. If you want to change, you can change. If you want to further customize, you can do it, because this is just a concept. So you want to get an idea. You always can make changes. You always can go and choose your own options. You don't have to follow exactly what is here. But for the lab purposes, yes, of course. For learning purposes, once you know what to do, you are good to go to do whatever you want to do, and the way you want to customize, you can customize. So these are the given options. You can see, you can change, and you can figure out exactly that what we are doing, why we have these options available, and what are the benefits or what are the drawbacks of these features. And of course, you want to have some benefits. You want to have a more maximum protection. That is why we are doing this all, and we are just getting an idea here to do these all things. And one more time, I'm telling you that we were on PowerShell, and we are going to demo a few commands about the PowerShell, and it is very straightforward and simple, and you can just follow along. And we finished, if I guess, I believe lab A for installation, lab B for server GUI management, and lab C for having a remote management with LON core on SVR1, and this is supposed to be a lab D as in David. So this is the fourth section of the lab, and where we will demo actually some PowerShell commands. So here we are going to access PowerShell remotely from LON-DC1. And I usually change the font here just to have a better look. And I'm going to show you the host name of this computer, which is LON-CORE core. And as you can see from the top right side, I am on my DC at this time, but I'm using a lab-1 like my server group to access LON-core remotely. So I'm in a PowerShell of LON-core, and here you can import module server manager from the PowerShell. With this command, you can also import -module space Active Directory, and we will do a lot about that one, but we are doing things with the server manager, so that is why we are going to look at. These are the features what we have installed or not installed. So that is the command get -Windows feature. And we are going to look at the services now. So these are the running services what you're gonna see right now. Those will be the running services, and that's how you can run the command where you're gonna have to look for the object with $underscore status equal to running. So it will give you only running services. So this is the way we locate running services through the PowerShell. We can dump this all into a text document and you can review after that as well. So far we are looking only those services which are running. Once you hit enter, you will see an output. So these are the services. Out of those all services on the status on the left side, you can see these are running. Now you will see the processes, running processes. Get dash process will give you all running processes. You can also see this GUI way through the task manager. This will give you the IP address in a small table format. Dash table means you're gonna look at IP address from the network cards into a table format. So these are all basic commands, and you will see a lot of advanced commands in the future, and this is just a start. So you will see IPv4 address, your loopback address, your host address, your IPv6 loopback address. Okay, you see all of them. So that's how you can look at your net IP address. This is you are looking for now first or top 10 events, the newest one. Again, very simple, just small command will tell you that the result. Again, we are looking this result only for the top 10 events. You can launch the PowerShell, or you also can type at the command prompt PowerShell and enter, and that will give you the PowerShell right away. Again, making my window little more visible, viewable, and here you are going to look at the Windows feature on 11 SVR3. And again, keep in mind you are on 11-DC1. And you see XPS viewer is not installed, so there's not a cross on the left side, a very last row. So now you are remotely installing XPS viewer on 11-SVR3 from 11-DC1 server. So this is a remote installation. Once you install it, you can repeat the command back to view the installed features, and you should see that XPS viewer has a cross on it. So that is how you verify. You hit up arrow, you hit F7. There's a multiple ways to go back and look at the previous commands, and hit enter. Now it's checked. So we just have verified this is done. So we just installed a feature by sitting on 11-DC1, and this feature was installed on 11-SVR3. So now this is a PowerShell ISE. ISE stands for Integrated Scripting Environment. So that is the way you do some advanced work actually. But they are going to give you some intro right from here, just to let you add some roles or features, and I believe you can install Wins right from here. But simply you can type a command on the top section, and you can run this command through the bottom section. You can execute through the bottom section. Okay, you can see the command on your idea box, so you can use that command and you can copy and paste it, or you can type it. So I paused the video and I typed it, so you can simply can see it. You also can click on the top green play button, and that will also install the feature. So as you can see, you are installing Wins feature on L11 SVR3 and on L11 SVR 11 core. So whichever host name you mention, you remotely can install it. So here you can save this file if you want to save it for future references, or you can execute directly from there by clicking on the play button, execute button, or you can hit F5 for execution of that script. So here I'm adding this script. So that name is just indicates that you are installing Wins. Onto those computer names what was actually pointed out into these text documents. Okay, so here the way you install it, either way you directly execute it, or you can go and point to here. I'm directly running with F5, or click on the run script button. So we save the script as well on the side, and we are now installing these features onto these two computers, L11 SVR3 and L11 SVR core. So very basic steps were performed, from installation of operating system and browsing around, playing with the core operating systems and playing with the GUI operating systems, and we actually worked on a couple of things, joined to the domain from the core, joined to the domain from L1SVR3. So all was done appropriately the way it's supposed to be done, and I believe that you have a good understanding of this lab now. And again, if you are doing this lab, you can do this. If you have any questions, you can ask me. And as well, I mentioned a side supported website, which is emeer.weebly.com, where I have a lot of instructions about CompTIA and Microsoft classes. And again, if you have any questions, let me know, and I hope you will like this video and you would follow this video. And also, if you are online or in class or anywhere in the world, you will get benefit of this video. If you need a separate PDF file for these all steps, just send me an email or contact me and I will provide you. And thank you for watching. This is Inayat Mir.